Welcome back to Silent Hill.
You did it, didn't you, Jimmy? You woke him up.
Based on the groundbreaking video game Silent Hill 2.
No one said it would be easy.
Get tickets now for Return to Silent Hill, exclusively in theaters January 23rd.
Hello everyone! The clip you're about to hear is from one of our exclusive Patreon episodes, and just like all of our other episodes, it might contain major spoilers. You've officially been warned. If you'd like to hear the episode in full, just head on over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/horrorqueers and subscribe today to get hundreds of hours of exclusive Patreon content, all for just $15 or less. That's patreon.com/horrorqueers. Without further ado, here is your Patreon clip. I'm going to say half the audience didn't really love 28 Years Later, and I've been seeing a lot of people come down on it, especially lately when talking about, are they going to go see the sequel?
Right. Yeah.
I think also it's January. It's a very crowded genre-related January. There's a lot of horror films coming out, and I think we're still in that FYC season, so like people are catching up on Oscar films. And
and then I think the final element is that shortened release window between the two different films, right? If you think about it, I think a strong reason why the first film opened at $30 million is because we waited how many fucking years to get that sequel. So there was all that pent up demand. And here it's like, oh, didn't we just get one of these? I'm saying this to more lay people.
Yeah, no,
I think
sure.
Those of us who really were either excited or intrigued to see what the sequel was going to do have been like, yeah, no, give me the Nia DaCosta version immediately. But I think for average folks, they're probably looking at this and being like, didn't we just see this movie?
Well, and what we talked about in that episode on 28 Years Later was, like, well, are we going to get the third film? Because we know that this is a trilogy. We know that they filmed these two back to back. But Garland, I think even maybe Boyle was on record as saying, well, it really depends on how much money the second one makes, The Bone Temple, to see if we're going to get that third film greenlit. And I mean, I'm happy to report that as of now, that film was greenlit last month in December because the test screenings for Bone Temple were going through the roof. Like Sony was like, oh wow, this is going to do really well, or at least people like this enough, so this is worth making a sequel. And I will confess, I'm a little concerned with these box office numbers. Like, I hope they don't ungreenlight it.
Yeah, I mean, we are living in a day and age where things get made and then they get ungreenlit somehow. But I do think that the consensus for how strong and successful this film is will help us to get that third one, because folks were looking at a 93% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, a 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd, and trace this cinema score.
Yeah, so we are looking at an A- cinema score, which A is good no matter what, but especially for a genre film it's
unheard of.
Yeah, I mean, I think we discussed something recently that got a B+ cinema score, and we were like, wow, that's really
so
good
high
for a genre film. But yeah, an A-. And so I do think the word of mouth will help this. I imagine this will probably make a good amount of money on PVOD once it gets released there, because I don't know if this is gonna stay in theaters for that long, again, given the competition we have coming out in the coming weeks.
Yeah, it's a question mark, right? I mean, the reason that we programmed this on the top tier of the Patreon for regular movie coverage, not the audio commentary, not the requel and so on, is because to us this is the strongest horror title of the month. Do I think that Silent Hill is going to overperform and do better? I mean, folks, you already know by the time you're listening to this, but my gut instinct is that this was the horror film of the month. So my biggest hope is that people are going to hear about how positively it was received, not get distracted by the box office figures, and check this out so that it ends up having legs. But that requires a lot of faith and hope and goodwill and fingers crossing.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe I'm being too generous with what my opinion of general audiences is. But I feel like, if they were not really in love with 28 Years Later and they hear about how good this is, then it'll be like, oh yeah, that's a rental, or that's I'll watch it when it's on streaming type thing. And of course, we've discussed, we don't really know how that factors into profit and things like that, how studios gauge that, determine whether it's worthy to have a sequel. But I mean, I do think that the fact that they did greenlight it before it even came out is a big sign of confidence. And maybe it's also because they have an idea of what that third film is going to be and look like.
Oh, I imagine, Alex Garland and Danny Boyle probably already pitched them on what does Chapter 3 look like for this trilogy. So I imagine they probably have a fairly solid idea of what they're getting themselves into. But yeah, fingers crossed that everything stays the course and we will eventually get I mean, whatever 28 years later, part 3 is going to look like.
Escape to nature. Protect your peace. The path is before you. It never ends. It never ends. Some places never let you leave. You live here now. You live here now. Get tickets now for Return to Silent Hill. In theaters, January 23rd.